My name's Kai. I'm a DJ and a presenter from North London, and I'm here to talk to you about the history you was never taught in school. I feel like I studied history like the average student. I did at GCSEs, I went on to do A-levels, and I done a degree in something totally different. So yeah, the average student, I'd say. During the time of the BLM protests, statues were being taken down. This particular one in Bristol was taken down and chucked into the river. But I can't explain to you who this guy is. I don't know what he's done wrong. As far as I know, statues are there for a reason, right? They've done some good things in the world, or they've done some good things for their countries and really made a change for today's society. So why is this guy being taken down and chucked into the river? But one statue was being safeguarded. Protection like I've never seen before. You've definitely heard of him. Sir Winston Churchill. I mean, he's on the £5 note, so he's definitely done something iconic. So what's special about Winston Churchill? Why isn't he being chucked into the lake as well? So I went to do some more research, and this is what I found on the true history of the Bengal Famine. It dates back all the way to 1943, in a place called Bengal, and a famine broke out. The famine was caused by a cyclone and flooding, and whilst under British rule at the time, people went out to search for food. They went out to the cities where people didn't really care. Some of them died in the streets of Kolkata, and some people just died in the villages. I felt like I needed some more information, so I went to go see my friend Mahatir Pasha. He's a journalist, so I thought this would be a good way for me to get some non-biased and South Asian views.
Churchill basically had, it was under the jurisdiction of the British Empire, right? So it was pretty much his responsibility to make sure that people were saved in this time. And he basically had ships laden with wheat coming in from Australia. And they even docked in Kolkata as well. So they docked in Bengal. But he ordered none of that wheat to be taken off and given and distributed amongst the Bengalis who were starving. And when conscious-minded British officials that were operating in Bengal pressed him and said, listen, we're wasting unnecessary life here, why don't you just give them the food? His response was, I got the quote here, he basically, he gave a
I heard
awful,
this one, it was something like...
It's an awful one, He goes...
breed like dogs or something.
He said, it's their fault anyway for breeding like rabbits.
That's it.
And then he said, I hate Indians. They're a beastly people with a beastly religion. Indians, obviously, in this context, includes Bengalis, right?
Yeah.
And then when, he was getting reports of the loss of life and the, severe, extreme loss of life, he responded to some of the reports saying, well, why hasn't Gandhi died yet? So you can understand why, when it comes to statues of Churchill or conversations around Churchill, while some people revere him as the man who destroyed Hitler and the man who won the war, there are also a lot of people who are genuinely annoyed about some of the comments that he made.
British troops were forced to retreat from Burma by the Japanese. They destroyed and burned any food stocks and boats as they believed this could support the enemy. So just to back Mahathir's words, British officers in India sent telegrams to tell them how bad the situation was and to send food. So they were fully aware of what was going on, but Churchill refused this. They wanted to keep the food and ships for themselves as they feel they needed this for the war effort. Even though the Indians were fighting alongside the British at the time, white and European lives were favoured over South Asian lives. It's been reported that there have been around 3 million deaths during the Bengal Famine. That's half the number of Nazi Germany's Holocaust. During this journey, I saw a short conversation between Piers Morgan and Richard Greer. I feel like Piers Morgan talks for the country when he says he's in favour of Churchill because he won the war and defeated Hitler. But Richard Greer actually says the opposing points in saying Churchill was a racist and every decision he made was bloody even when it didn't need to be. It really made me think, are we being conditioned to feel a certain way towards certain people, good or bad? History just repeats itself over and over again. So how transparent do you think our history is?